Hello, Scorpio. My name's Tanya, and I'm going to be doing a month ahead reading for you for the month of March 2024. I'm going to pull an oracle card first this time. Usually I do it last, but I want to start with it. I am enjoying these cards, so let's get into it. For Scorpio, for March, we have a mushroom. And the keywords on this are recycling, breaking down problems. So part of March, it's like the advent of spring, right? All that spring, things are warming up. Some things are getting more wet, right? As snow melts and the ground gets softer. And it looks kind of mushy and blah just before the first buds or seeds start bursting through the surface and turning everything green and luscious again. Part of that is the arrival of mushrooms as they nourish the soil and they utilize their underground network to communicate and decide where to grow and which ones need to grow where in order to help nourish the earth, to help bring the soil to life, and to bring the plants that are around them to life. They're taking all of this vast network of information, consolidating it all together, and then determining, breaking off pieces based on what they find out, and determining which area needs the most attention at this time or as each piece gets resolved or solved or becomes healthy. And there's this sense too of recycling all of that material from last year that's broken down in order to help the mushroom thrive and grow. It creates the right environment for the earth to recover and grow again. I like this breaking down problems too. So there's this sense or feeling that you're going to have so much information coming in that you almost don't have time to process it all, to gather it properly, to understand exactly what's going on. So what they're recommending here down, or recommending a little bit, what I'm feeling is take the time to just gather all the information, bring it all together, get all the pieces there, make sure you have it all together. It's like assembling a puzzle. How many pieces do you have? Do you have all 500 pieces? Do you have all the edges? Or, so you have that vast thing of pieces there. Let's continue down the puzzle thing because that might help. Focus on the edges first or the corners. Find your 4 corners. Solve the little pieces first, right? And then build out from there until you get to the big picture, until you solve the big problem. So if you have this major issue as you're coming into March that you need to figure out how to fix, how to solve, break it down into smaller pieces. I don't know, what's the saying? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I think that's it. If not, tell me. Break it down into smaller pieces that make sense to you, and then focus on those individual things. And by the time you get each of those pieces solved, you'll have the full whole thing solved. And as it feels, I'm getting the energy of as you solve one piece, it gets easier to do the next one and easier and easier as you go. Because now you're learning how it works. There's a rhythm in there that you have not worked with before, or a pattern that you have not worked with before. And once you figure it out, it gets much easier. All right, let's see what our cards have. For Scorpio for March, we have the 7 of Cups. Lots of options. The 8 of Cups. Moving on. The 7 of Pentacles, which is about analysis, research, reflection. The 8 of Swords. Interesting. And the 2 of Swords. I almost thought another 7 was going to come out of there. See? A pattern. 7, 8, 7, 8. And then we broke the pattern. All right, let's get into these cards here. We're starting with the Seven of Cups. Cups are about our emotions and intuition, and the Seven of Cups in particular is you have a lot of different options available to you as to how you could approach this from an emotional standpoint, about how you could feel about this thing that you need to work on and figure out. It could feel overwhelming. It could feel like a challenge, and you could be anticipating it, anticipating how you'll feel when you solve it. There could be fear and anxiety in there about doing this work. You have a choice on how you approach this from an emotional viewpoint. And that's going to color and impact your experience for the month ahead for taking on this whole thing. So the advice here is to pick something where it's more uplifting, where it comes from a source of curiosity rather than angst, right? Pick the energy you want to have and you want to be working with for the rest of the month, is what I'm feeling here for you with this first card. And then we have the Eight of Cups. Now, the Eight of Cups is about walking away, making the decision to cut out some things from your life and walk away into a new future. So you're letting go, you're leaving behind all of these emotions or even relationships that don't serve you anymore. They don't help you in any way. It's all about the drama, fear, anxiety, anger, and any other number of things. There could be some relationships in there that have just been contentious for a long time, and it's just not worth your energy to keep trying to maintain them. It is time to move on so that you can free up that energy, which is going to help you look at the rest of this month with a more positive attitude, with the sense of curiosity instead of dread, right? Because if you still have all of this hanging on and pulling you down, how much energy do you have to give to this other thing, to solving this other thing, to working towards something that can help you in the future and support you versus something that's just going to drag you down and keep you in place? So it is time to work on or consider or actually say, I can't, I'm no longer willing to put any energy into this relationship. I'm going to move on with something else in my life. I'm just getting a whoo kind of feeling there, like, oh, that's going to be a big shift for you. And you may feel lighter and at the same time very emotional about it, but it's very releasing for you and helpful. And then we have the Seven of Pentacles. Now, the Seven of Pentacles is about taking time to reassess. It's a checkpoint. Where am I now? How are things progressing? Is there anything I want to change? Do I want to leave things the same? Do I want to start over from scratch? This is where you might stop partway through the month and see if you're stuck on the problem in some area. Maybe you need to look at it from a different perspective. Maybe you need to stop working on that piece and pick a different piece, change directions. Maybe you're discovering this is not worth your effort at this time and you want to stop working on it or take a break from it. Or are you going to persevere with the methods and tools that you've been using because you know how those work and they seem to be having success? So there's a point where you stop and reassess how things are going. And then we're moving to the Eight of Swords. This is where some doubt might be creeping in. Can you get this done? Are you going to be stuck working on this for the next year if you can't figure it out now? Fears and anxieties, doubts. But you are making progress. This is just a worry, something that is kind of holding you back and causing you to doubt yourself. But this is just, I don't want to say just, but it's fear. It's not reality. It's all about smoke and mirrors kind of thing. Because we can see they may think that they're penned in by these swords, right? They're feeling contained and like they can't break free and look at other things. Maybe you have a different idea for how to approach this problem at this point, but you don't think you can change directions, and you can. This is your problem to solve. You're in control here. If you think that there's a different thing you could be doing, a different way to look at it, different tools to use, go ahead and try it. Don't stay bound by the idea that you have to keep going the same way. And we can see, so I was trying to get into here. They're feeling bound up, right? They can't fly away. And they have a blindfold on, but it's not that tight. And there are swords kind of on either side or behind them, but there's nothing really holding them there. They could hop around. He could shake his head and drop the blindfold on. He could use his beak to remove the things that are binding them, right? You have the knowledge and tools. You know that this is just fear. Has to do with change and evolution because you've cut these ties here too, right? So you don't have the same type of dependencies or codependencies, if you will, that you had before, and you're feeling kind of flying solo a bit here. So there is some anxiety attached to that because it's new and different for you. Don't be afraid to take control, to step outside of the bounds, to step outside of the norm and do it the way you want to. And then we're coming to the Two of Swords. Now, by the end of the month, I think you're going to know what the solution or potential solutions, there might be two, because the Two of Swords is about making a decision. And typically there are two options. Technically three. The third option would be to not make a decision, but it doesn't solve anything. Nothing changes and you stay stuck where you're at, basically. Right? It's like leaving it in a cliffhanger, or somebody else makes the decision for you and it doesn't turn out well. So this is a decision that you need to make, a choice between two options. You don't know exactly what the outcome is going to be with each. You know what each decision is. I'm going to go left or I'm going to go right. Ultimately, you end up in the same destination, but what you experience along the way is going to be different depending on which one you pick. But you don't know also that that destination is necessarily going to be the same. So you need to lean into your intuition and emotions a little bit more here when you're making a choice on which solution to use for this problem. Because there's two very good solutions. They each have their pros and cons. They pretty much balance out. So one isn't worse than the other. It's just a matter of preference. So trust yourself when making this decision and just make it. Go for it. Let's see what we have on the bottom of the deck for you. The Seven of Wands. There's that other seven. The pattern's completed. I love that. All right, except it goes up here for now. The Seven of Wands. Stand your ground. Don't be intimidated by other people, the actions of others, I should say, by the competition. Keep your focus. Defend your space, defend your methods, or don't. But keep, I know I've said it already, but hold your ground, hold your space, stay focused on what you're doing, and that's what's going to carry you through. It's not getting distracted by everything else that's going on around you. This problem is actually helping you with processing, I think, this thing where you are walking away here. It gives you something else to focus on as your body and your energy is shifting and evolving as you move forward. And I would say as the pattern continues to evolve. I love that. Serendipity, coincidence, whatever it is, I think it's pretty darn cool. Here, I'm going to put it kind of here. I really want to put it over the Two of Swords. Maybe because I do really want to put it here. It has to do with making this decision. A lot of people are going to have an opinion, there we go, about which choice you should make. But it's your choice to make, no one else's. And that's what you need to know. All right. I think that's done. That feels complete. That's what I have for you, Scorpio. Please hit that like button and please hit subscribe and help me grow my channel. I have a dream of being able to do more of these videos and all kinds of different videos, but I need the time to do it. And yours like and your subscribe can help me get there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you later. That was delightful.